all in order? It is. Okay, good. And then I'm also probably just going to post separately the rookie stats that I made the sheet for. Okay. Also, if you have any thoughts, any questions for like any of the selections, obviously, feel free to ask. Because like there are some selections that are pretty much like a coin flip for me, and there are ones that like maybe if I was making it now, I would make something a little different. But yeah, for the third team, starting off number 15, Aziaha James. Aziaha ended up being like a fairly obvious number 15 for me, because on one hand, she was better than everybody below her, and like I did consider like Lexi Held, Kitty Alexa, Lianai, Lucy Olsen, and like Lexi Held and Lucy Olsen were probably the ones closest, but I did. I think Aziaha is like a pretty clear level above them in terms of her rookie season. Now she's also very clearly number 15, because I just couldn't even like make a decent argument for putting her above like JJ Quinerly or anybody that's above her. So what I have here, obviously her numbers, pretty good. Almost 16 points per 75, but like way below average true shooting, slightly negative on off on a bad team. And yeah, as I said, like we had games where Aziaha just comes in and drops 20, but let me just very quickly ban that. Okay, we have games where Aziaha comes in and drops 20, but like overall, the Dallas Wings, weirdly enough, didn't really have a lot of wings throughout the season. And so, despite not having a lot of real competition at her position, she wasn't really able to like secure even a rotation spot. And like a big part of that is, her only real W skill at this point is scoring, and she doesn't do that very efficiently. And she doesn't really like play off of good players that well either. So yeah, pretty clear number 15. Like scoring is the scoring is interesting. Could grow defensively. Could grow in terms of like playing off of Paige. But as of right now, this is where she is. Now JJ Quinerly, uh, another Dallas Wing at number 14. Scored a little bit less per 75, but more efficiently. Uh, with JJ, she had like that period where she started for them and genuinely looked very good. Like the drives always were there. She was getting into the paint, kicking it out. She was playing off of Paige despite like not shooting a lot. And then the finishing kind of fell off. But like, there was something very exciting about JJ Quinerly's rookie season, and so I think it's very clear that she should be ranked above Aziaha. But also like with the finishing falling off and like Dallas still not being a great team, so it's being hard to judge. I don't think she had like any real argument of being higher than 14. Okay, now here we get to a section where pretty much everybody from number 13 to number 10, so that's 4 players, Carla Leite, Aneesah Morrow, Janelle Salaün, and Luisa Geiselsöder. I wouldn't say they're like entirely interchangeable, but I see those 4 in the same tier. So yeah, you could very well just make an argument for any of them to grab the 10 spot. Let's start with Carla Leite. I landed on Carla Leite 13th. I don't feel great about it. But yeah, the numbers again. Actually, we could also just open this. Let me flip the scene just so once again I don't accidentally leak anything. I do have the stat sheet, so we could just look at the stat sheet. Okay, where's Carla? There's Carla. Okay, let's flip it back to the screen. Okay, there we go. Is it there? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so for Carla, the scoring's pretty good. You're at about 16.6 points per 75, which is on the higher end among the rookies. The playmaking I thought would be a little bit higher. She's only at 4.6, so it's like good, but not elite. The biggest issue with Carla is the complete lack of an outside shot, where like she has attempted them, but she just hasn't made them. But she is one of the best drivers already, like one of the best drivers in the league, and a great finisher. So there is something there. Just I don't know if she's like, again, we're not really at this point in the list judging in terms of playoff readiness, but like for Carla, the shot really needs to come along for her to like actually be a high-end rotation player or a starter at this level. Okay, moving up. Aneesah Morrow. Uh, I had no idea what to make of Aneesah Morrow as she was like coming into the league. Uh, let's mark this up. Because like we're talking about a player that is like 6'1", but also doesn't have any perimeter skills, and also the inside skills are not like in terms of scoring that great. But Aneesah Morrow can rebound, which that helps. She's in terms of just pure rebounding volume the best rebounder in the class, and if I remember correctly, like all the global impact on rebounding also is good for her. She's also shown some versatility, both defensively and offensively. Like she's shown some drives, she's shown cuts, she's shown transition play. Not really a lot in terms of playmaking there, which is kind of weird because like I remember from watching her college highlights, there was some passing, like interior passing, but that might just be like the context of both the Connecticut Sun and the positions that she was in. But yeah, her being able to just do stuff, and maybe it is just her getting more minutes as like Lacan came in. But I like there is a reason that they are better with her than without her. So yeah, Aneesah, another one in this group. I have her 12th. Okay, at number 11. Now this one is crazy. You have Janelle Salaün of the Valkyries. Now Janelle is one of the highest scoring rookies per 75. I think she's fifth. She does get rebounds with her size. She does shoot a lot from three, and I love volume shooting at good efficiency too. Why is this popping up now? I don't need this. Okay. Uh, at good efficiency. My issue with Janelle, and ultimately the reason why she slid all the way down to this group of 4 players instead of factoring into the discussion for maybe like a high-end second team or low-end first team spot. It's the fact that like the shooting is really the only thing that she does. And I do have some defensive questions about her, and I do have some versatility questions about her. Like, if she's going to be able to consistently put the ball on the floor, maybe just not even create for herself, but maybe drive a closeout, make a pass off of that, keep the advantage. Like, if she's able to, do more offensively than just shoot the ball and hope it goes in, which it does go in a decent amount of time. But like the way she plays right now is, I am not sure how scalable that is to a better offense. Because like if you take Janelle and put her on like the what would be a good example? Let's go with the links first. If you take Janelle and put her on the links, like what does she do there? And then you get to the point where, okay, Janelle taking a shot is actually maybe potentially not even an above average offensive outcome for them. And all of a sudden she doesn't play because that's the only thing she does, and it's not good for them. And it's not just the links. Like even if you look at teams like the Liberty, teams like the Dream, like Janelle just needs to do more to, be a high-end rotation player on most teams. Because specifically the Valkyries are like a perfect context for her because they really needed what she does. But I'm a little worried about that translating to like different contexts. Okay, so that's the third team done. So the next thing we have is our second team. So for the second team, we are starting off with Luisa Geiselsöder. That might be a surprising pick, but again, she is still in that same 10 through 13 group. Like if you had any of the other players in that group there, I don't mind. The reason I have Luisa so high, let's mark her. The reason I have Luisa so high is the fact that she just does everything. Like everything you could possibly want from your big, Luisa does. And I think that fits on so many teams. And yeah, I'm not saying she would step into any of the playoff teams and immediately start. But she probably is in a rotation for pretty much any team in the league, except maybe like the Lynx and the Liberty, who just have extremely stacked big rooms. But like every other team, depend with the Dream, of course, it depends how big they want to get. With like she definitely plays for the Aces. She probably plays for the Storm because they just do a bunch of double big anyway. So yeah, just pretty much every team could use just such a versatile skill set. And like sneakily enough, very high among the rookies in terms of stocks per 75. She's top 5 in that. Uh, Also good volume from 3. Didn't shoot that well, but a decent volume for a big. So again, I would be interested in seeing Luisa in a better offensive context because I think she can amplify that a lot. And that is the reason why I have her 10th. Okay, let's move up. Okay, number 9, we have Saniyah Rivers of the Connecticut Sun. Now, with Saniyah, the range where you could rank her is like very wide. Like here, we're getting into the tier where pretty much everybody from like 9 to... Hello, Jack. How are you doing? Here, we're getting into a tier where like pretty much everybody from like 9 to maybe 5. Oh, actually not 5. The top 5 end up being pretty clear. But everybody from 9 through 6 is kind of interchangeable. Actually, let me change category. I probably should do that. So everybody there being just interchangeable. There is like the reason I settled with Saniyah at number 9 uh, is I'm not sure how real everything is. And I hope everything that we have is real, but yeah, I'm just not quite sure. So should we do just chatting or should we do sports? Let's do just chatting. Okay, changing the category like a professional streamer. There we go. Okay, so let's get to Saniyah. Let's get to the numbers right here. Uh, Despite the scoring growth, the volume isn't really there, and neither is the efficiency just yet. What is encouraging is the 3-point shooting growth, where she got to 4.4 attempts per 75, 34%. I'm pretty sure that was like close to 40 post All-Star break. My question is, and I said it in the tweet as well, has she actually gotten that much better, or did she just have like 1 month where she hit shots? And before she answers that question, I am not quite confident ranking her higher. Although, like again, you could easily make an argument for her as high as sixth to me. And I guess you could make an argument for fifth if you don't really acknowledge the person in fifth for some reason. Okay, at number 8, another person in this group, another player that I probably am higher on than the consensus, Te-Hina PaoPao. Now, one thing that stands out with Te-Hina is the volume shooting. The percentage dropped a little bit. It was at 40% for most of the season, so she just had a couple bad games at the end. But some of the other impressive things about Te-Hina, she's second in the class, only behind Paige in terms of assists per 75. Scores efficiently, and what is most impressive, the fact that with the Dream like having a season where Jordan Canada missed a bunch of games, and Te-Hina PaoPao just stepping in and then being better with her than without Te-Hina, that is huge from a rookie. Like a rookie just being able to step into a top 3 seed, play huge minutes, and the team not being hurt by that is just massive. Especially considering she, for whatever reason, went in the second round, which I still don't understand. See, Saniyah's mechanics, like it's weird because like it's not hmm, like overall shot mechanics discussion is just always a little weird to me. Like I don't know if her mechanics are like exactly replicable, but I don't know how much that really matters because she is actually fairly adaptable as a shooter. And so, and you can see it with like a bunch of her pull-ups, a bunch of her different footwork, some of the late quarter shots that she hit recently, that she can get into her shot and shoot it comfortably. And even though it can look like a little bit different, I think I'm okay with that. And the fact that she's just confidently getting into all kinds of shots and like she has made them for like a stretch now, I think that is an encouraging sign. But yeah, we will see. Uh, Honestly, yeah, Te-Hina probably should have been a Sky. Like they did have those 2 picks, and they used them on. I like the Aisha Sivka pick at that point. That is a good pick there. But they used the other one on Hailey Van Lith when Te-Hina PaoPao was just right there. And so, yeah, that definitely should not have been a thing. Now, I don't know if Te-Hina could have gone higher. I know Lincoln and the people that he makes the mock drafts with or like the rookie rankings with. They had Te-Hina ranked like fifth or sixth as like the fifth or sixth best rookie or best prospect. So I don't know if she could have actually gone that high. I guess technically, yeah, technically she could have also been a Mystic, where I guess I am not like as informed as Lincoln on that, but I know that he had her ranked higher than Georgia Amor. And I guess with because the main difference from what from what I remember uh, was that uh, people were talking about Georgia being a better playmaker and just like a better on ball player. But Te-Hina has done a lot of stuff on ball this year. So yeah, I think you obviously like you never know because Georgia got hurt, so we didn't get to see her. But like in retrospect, the concerns that were there, I am not quite sure if like those concerns were enough. But yeah, like the fact that she fell that far, that deep is just crazy. Because even Dallas does have a bunch of guards, but like they could have picked her over Aziaha James and just played more 3 guard lineups. And yeah, like, it might have been an Angel tax. I don't know how much influence Angel had on that, but that might have been a thing. Obviously, in terms of like pure talent, just a bad pick at that point. Now I did include HVL because she was a first round pick, but yeah, there's not a lot going on there, unfortunately for her. Yeah, that's yeah, that's obviously a concern with Georgia. And that's the thing, like if the size is just what it is, and then she's not actually that much better as a playmaker or a scorer than Te-Hina, or she might very well be worse, then you get to it gets hard to justify that pick. So yeah, I guess I have Te-Hina ranked eighth. Uh, but there are some players above that were not drafted this year. So like number 7, Kathryn Westbeld. Uh, I have no idea what the consensus on Kathryn Westbeld is. Yeah, for sure. She's just a better complementary player, and she might just at this point be better as like a primary ball handler too. Like, she's just very good. I have no idea how she fell that far. Just no clue. Like I'm not a draft expert by any means, but based on everything I read, just no idea. Okay, Kathryn Westbeld. No idea what the consensus is. Uh, what do I have here? Uh, her game is kind of basic. Her game is very much like do your job on both ends. Like on offense, she will screen, she will sometimes hit shots, though the shot is just not quite there all the time. She will make good decisions. She won't do anything too complicated. But more importantly, she will do a bunch of stuff defensively. Yeah, that is it is very commendable. Just going from being out of the league to starting for a bunch of the season on a top 4 seed, that is for sure very commendable. And like the impact metrics also kind of agree. Because this is the first player we get to that with a positive LeBron and also has a positive on off on a playoff team. Oh, I scrolled off. Uh, so yeah, this is where we are. Now again, the scoring volume not quite there. The creation volume not quite there. Even the scoring efficiency not really there because the shooting kind of fell off. Like she started the season shooting a lot better. But the volume matters. And so the volume is there. And the Mercury still won her minutes. They were better with her than without her. And big part of that is the defense. It's not just the stocks, because like 2.8 stocks per 75 is cool. It's a little more than Luisa. It's comparable to like it's less than Saniyah, who's at 3.5. But it's the versatility. It's the fact that she will just do her job in pretty much any scheme. Like you can have her guarding fours, you can have her guarding threes, you can have her guarding fives, and you're fine. You're not too worried about it, which is just very impressive for exactly as you said, somebody that was unemployed for a while. All right, uh, so that's Cat Westbelt. Uh, and at number 6, we move to Seattle and to Dominique Malonga. I am not sure how I'm supposed to judge the Dominique Malonga season. because the sample is kind of small. Like she never, I mean, she did eventually start playing more minutes, but still, like she's one of the lower players here in terms of overall minutes played. Like Kitty Alexa played more minutes than her. Leïla Lacan played more minutes, and she wasn't there for like half the season. Aliyah Nye was not in the rotation for like 2 months, and she played more minutes. So it's not a huge sample for Malonga. And we are talking about a 19-year-old, but the production is there. Again, second among rookies in scoring volume per 75. Pretty sure she's also second in rebounding per 75. Up there in stocks, good scoring efficiency considering a lot of her shots were self-created. The shot from the outside is not really there yet. She doesn't really take them and she doesn't really hit them. And they were a lot better without her, but that's just the as it acts, mostly. And then you get to the questions like, so how close would a 19-year-old have to be to Ezi Magbegor to be ranked higher on this list? Because that is a very difficult task. Like, she is very disruptive, but there are moments defensively where she either gets bullied or there is like a drive that she probably should be able to contain and she doesn't because the offensive player just deals with the contact better or just catches her like off of footwork. So those are some things that she will eventually get better at. Uh, and of course, in terms of her offense, like she can create for herself offensively. She's also should be a very good pick and roll player. The issue for her offense is the Seattle Storm lack of spacing. Like the fact that you always have to deal with three defenders in the paint because teams just know you don't want to take shots from three and you cannot hit shots from three. Like that is very tough to deal with. And obviously it takes away the rim from her, which is a spot where she could be even more dominant than she already has been. So hopefully that context can improve for her. But yeah, a great rookie season considering she's a lot younger than all the other rookies. Uh, the production is already there, the efficiency is already there, but it also could be better on both ends. And there are just rookies that have been more impactful. And so that's why she barely misses out on the first team. Okay, speaking of the first team, might need to actually we're about on pace to get this done before the game starts. We're starting off with Leïla Lacan. So we have another young French player that was drafted last year. Uh, what Leïla Lacan has done this year is just like incredible. Uh, the Connecticut Sun were a historically bad team. They were like one of the worst offenses and defenses in league history relative to average. And then Leïla Lacan arrived, and that team that was just historically awful went about neutral in her minutes. That's just that's it should not work that way. We're talking about a plus 19.6 on off. That's crazy. That's crazy to have that much impact. And of course, it's not just her. It's Saniyah developing. It's Aneesah getting more comfortable and doing stuff. Tina Charles kind of had a better end to the season. Also, it's them going away from the double big stuff or the away from playing Nelson Ododa and Charles together a bunch. Part of it was for health reasons. So it's not just Lacan, but she was such a huge part of that. Just such a massive part of what they were able to do. And even though like the only reason you could or the only arguments I guess you could make to not have her this high up would be maybe like the lack of games played, but I just completely ignore that because she has played, enough in terms of possessions. Like she's played more than Malonga. She's played more than a bunch of people that I already have on the list, and she's not that far off like somebody like PaoPao or Westbeld. And so I don't really know what real argument you could make because even the statistical production, yeah, sure, the scoring is not elite. The efficiency is fine. Like it's above league average efficiency, despite not shooting well from three. The playmaking is there already. Uh, a lot of it comes off her own gravity from her drives, because once again, a great driver. And from there, she's able to make reads. So that lands her, what is it, fourth among the rookies in assists per 75. She makes plays right next to JJ Quinerly, actually, which is kind of funny because they do make plays in a very similar way. She's also right next to Saniyah in terms of stocks per 75. And yeah, again, she is a great defender. Very athletic, very fast, very long, and very disruptive. So yeah, I think you could very easily make an argument for Lacan as high as third. Yeah, I think the like 3 through 5 is again like a separate tier for me, and they could be interchangeable. Like any order you make off of those three, I'm kind of fine with. And another player in this tier, Monique Akoa Makani. A little bit of a different player here, because we are not talking about like a star that's scoring a bunch or carrying her team. We're talking about just an elite role player as a rookie. Now, Monique does kind of everything you want from a guard. That's like not your primary superstar. Like Monique will hit shots from the outside. She will run pick and roll where she can score and pass. She will also set screens in inverted pick and roll, which has benefited AT a lot. And she will defend at the point of attack and be one of the best in the league at it. I don't know if she'll end up making an all defensive team, but she absolutely should be in conversation. Again, the 3-point volume is there, the percentage, one of the best among the rookies, like just 40%. It's not as good as you can get, but it's very good. The overall scoring efficiency, just good as well. And it's, again, the fact that we're talking about the Phoenix Mercury, a team that has Alyssa Thomas, a team that has Satu Sabali, Kalia Copper, and even a bunch of like other good players. Like you have Natasha Mack there, you have Sammy Wickham, you have Wnba Bonner. And on that team, Monique Akoa Makani has a plus 12.3 on off. So yeah, they really need what she does. Like they are an elite team with her. And partially because of her. She's not their best player by any means, but they absolutely need her contributions if they're gonna be able to like even just beat the Liberty and just make a playoff run. Or even if they want to just challenge the Liberty, they will need Monique Makani. Okay, and the last player in this tier, at number 3, we have Kiki Iriafen. Now, early on in the season, it looked like Kiki was gonna be the Rookie of the Year candidate for the Mystics, because she just came out of the gate, and the first thing you noticed was that she was just not scared of anybody and anything. She ended up cooling down a little bit after that. Part of it was because lineups and Shakira Austin getting to play more and and playing better. But still, very high up there in terms of scoring, decent efficiency considering the shot she's taken. 3-point shot is not there at all, just non-existent. Not talking about it. Uh, does rebound well on both ends. And the Mystics were better with her than without her, even though they still lost her minutes. My issues with Kiki, and maybe the reason where if I had to re-rank this tier right now, I would maybe be inclined to slide Kiki down to 5. I'm not sure how I feel about her as a team defender. Like I think a lot of stuff is missing there, and her playmaking. Because again, a lot of it I guess can be Mystic spacing, which like one of my favorite bits when watching the Mystics is one of the bigs gets the ball, they make a move, and then all of a sudden there are 4 Mystics in the vicinity of the paint because people are cutting to the basket and moving for the rebound, and nobody is spaced out. And it is difficult to make plays from that spot. But there are still times where she just very clearly misses the fact that like there is help, or misses the fact that she's getting doubled and she could kick it out. So I definitely want to see her do that more. But again, I do have confidence that she can get there. And just the scoring and the fact that she actually has been able to be a contributor. I'm not like acknowledging the all-star selection that much into this, but it's cool that the coaches, decided, hey, this player should be an all-star. So yeah, this is why I have Kiki where she is, anywhere from 3 through 5. I do have her at 3 here. Okay, number 2, Sonia Citron. Uh, a very interesting development story for me because Sonia Citron was a kind of a 3 and D prospect or like a wing prospect, kind of like an off guard with some versatility, shooting, defense. And then she stepped into this Mystics team that doesn't really have like a the quote unquote real point guard. And she was just fine, just getting a lot of on ball reps, just running handoffs, running pick and roll. She was fine being pretty much the primary creator after they traded Brittany Sykes. And while the playmaking isn't where it could be, like she does still miss passes or passing windows, the scoring is good. Like the fact that she's been able to score efficiently from those spots is just huge for her. Now, a lot of it is the fact that she shot incredibly well from 3, which we'll see if she can sustain that. Hopefully she can. But she also has been good at getting to the rim and finishing there. So, like in terms of scoring, Sonia Citron, great. In terms of defense, again, very good. Uh, not always like extremely consistent, but who is at this age? So yeah, very good defender. I just need the playmaking growth to pick up or to keep. Uh, I need her to keep growing as a playmaker. I guess that's how I should frame that. And that's like the main difference between her and Paige. Speaking of Paige, number 1 on the list, Paige Bueckers. Now, you could still look at this Paige season and find things to pick at. Uh, some of the on-ball defense, some of the off-ball defense, and then in terms of playmaking, like yes, she's gotten the most assists per 75 out of the rookies, but she doesn't generate rim offense like at all for herself or for her teammates. Now, part of that can be the scheme. Her best pick and roll partner was Luisa, who is more of a pick and pop big or short roll big. In terms of the other teammates, do they really have anybody that would be good at cutting? Not really. In terms of scheme and the actions that they're running, it's also not a lot of stuff that could generate rim offense. It's more often supposed to generate advantages for the guards that then can create off of that. So it's not entirely on her. that she hasn't gotten to the rim or gotten her teammates looks at the rim, but both her and her team, I guess part of it is front office, part of it is coaching staff, will need to figure some of that out if Dallas is supposed to be a very good offense around Paige. But yeah, it is. I guess we will have to wait to see it, but I think Paige will be fine in that regard. She just probably needs to be on a better team. Probably just needs a real like a role threat. In a way, maybe. Yeah, I guess it could be similar to that. Like the Steve Nash in Dallas comp, I guess could be a thing. Uh, Obviously they don't really play the same, but yeah, it's more like the roster construction thing. Because like she will need people around her that can hit shots, so the defense has to respect them, but also can cut and also can be involved in actions that can lead to offense at the rim. And so yeah, that will be something that the Wings will need to address, which is also why like one of my which it's why I was hoping that they would bring back Awak for next year and potentially out of the free agents that exists. Uh, I really want them to try and bring in Ezi McBagor, who is not necessarily like a dominant big, but fits into like their offense and can help them get some of that. And then obviously, ideally, of course, if they're drafting high, somebody like Ava Pham for them would be incredible. But yeah, then if they have that sort of two-man game locked in and they have Arike as like the complementary perimeter player, they will also need to bring players around that will be able to, hit shots, cut, keep advantages, attack closeouts, that sort of stuff. Because they don't have a lot of those right now. Yeah, I guess yeah, the injury history could be also a thing. It could be part of why she hasn't been able to get to the rim as much, but I think it's a lot of it is also the spacing and the positions where she gets the ball because they don't generate like huge ones. I mean, yeah, if they could get 40 minutes of good Maisha Hines Allen, maybe that helps. Or like the perfect version of Maisha. Like, that is something that would be helpful for them for sure. But yeah, that is like yeah, Maisha is one of the players that has helped them generate some rim offense for sure. But yeah, they just need so much more of that. And I guess part of it can also be, the scheme stuff, which is a similar issue that like the Aces ran into last year and kind of ran into this year. It's not like they have solved it. I guess similar thing for the Storm, where like you have a great player that can generate for themselves in like that short mid range area, and you can run actions for them. You can run actions for those players to get them into spots where they can create for themselves. But then if you're running offense that way, it's unless you have like some very cool spacing concepts, it's difficult to turn that into offense at the rim. And I guess it has also been kind of an issue for like the OKC Thunder, where they can get Shea into spots where he can score, but partially because teams just don't really care about the shooters, and partially because I guess his limitations as well as a playmaker. He has a very similar footprint to Paige in terms of creating a bunch of stuff, a bunch of threes, but they are often threes that the defense is fine with giving up. And they ran into issues with that in the playoffs. So that's going to be a similar thing with Paige eventually, and they're going to need to like solve that. I mean, I was actually excited for Dijonay because in theory that should be somebody that can sometimes hit an open shot, but also cut and also drive closeouts and just play in transition, play off of Paige. But it just never really worked. And I don't know if that was just a fail from, as it would be attributed to the coaching staff, a fail in getting her to buy in. But yeah, there is a version of Dijonay that could have been helpful to this Wings team. But of course, it was also a weird season with like Arike missing a bunch of time and then coming back, but it being a different role and her being injured, like having an injury on her shooting thumb and all that. So Paige didn't really have like her best offensive teammate in theory, and then the big room was like all over the place, and Luisa missed time with like both injuries and also Eurobasket, and that's like her best pick and roll partner. So yeah, it definitely was not a great context, and Paige still did very well. Like she still had arguably an all W season. So here we are talking about things like what will need to happen for her to be one of the best players in the league and Dallas be a contender eventually and all that. And that's kind of a crazy thing to talk about in an all rookie debate. Okay. Uh, I will probably tweet this chart out if or tweet the spreadsheet out if anybody wants to click through it. But the game starts in 4 minutes allegedly. So thanks for everybody that popped in, and I will close it off here.